right, Mom. Welcome back to the 4th and 31 podcast, your one-stop shop for all things college and SEC football. Be sure to leave a like, a subscribe, and hit the bell so you never, ever miss a show. I am your host, one part of the Killer Bees broadcasting team, the Chad Bullock. And with me tonight, it looks like we're the Brady Bunch. We've got the boss, the man who signs our paycheck, Scott. We have the man, the myth, the legend, and the coach, Bo. And we have the man who would pull for Ohio State over pulling for the St. Paul Saints, Brant. Mob, the playoff rankings are out. And we're going to be discussing them. But what we want from you today is to tell us what you think of the rankings. Is anybody too high? Is anybody too low? Or if you hate the SEC, are there too many SEC teams in the top 10, top 15, top 25? So we want to hear from you. All right, gentlemen, we just saw the rankings. And it was kind of chalk for the AP poll, I guess. Mr. Bossman Scott, what's your thoughts on them?
Well, I'm going to talk about what we talked about before we went on. And, and I know that they're not down there, but Tennessee at 25, I can't get past this. Like, you mean to tell me there's 24 teams better than Tennessee? I'm not trying to rehash what we just talked about, but I can't get over that. I'm looking at the bracket now. Memphis, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. I'm not surprised they've got them there. I hope that works out. I really do. I'd like to see them there. BYU at 7. They've got them logged up with Notre Dame in the first round. Boy, that's a surprise. Wonder who will win that one. I know who I'll be pulling for. But, I mean, I'm not at all surprised. They kept it very AP-like. I don't see a lot of difference, in the AP poll. But being the first week of this, I mean, I get it. I see where they're coming from.
Yeah, I think we all understand this first poll really doesn't amount to a hill of beans. It's basically a starting point. So we all know everything's going to fluctuate from week to week depending on who wins. Brant, did you see anything interesting?
Just like Scott, I kind of said it before the show started. Now, look, I'm not going to say I'm an avid Notre Dame football watcher, but, number 10, they started off the season 0-2. They lost to, was it Miami and Texas A&M? Like, I feel like they're two big challenges they've had, they've lost. Like, I hate using this excuse, but let's just say Alabama opened the season with Miami and Texas A&M and lost both. I don't think Alabama is number 10. Granted, they haven't even run the gauntlet. It's not like they lost 2 and then went and beat 4 top 20 teams. Like I said, I'm not an avid Notre Dame watcher, so I could be completely wrong. I know that Jeremiah loves the beast. I know that CJ Carr has really turned his game around and been very consistent. But, on a neutral field, is Notre Dame gonna walk in and beat one of those top 10 teams? I just don't think so. I don't know. Now, granted, I get the whole argument they've gotten better. They're a lot better team than they were the first 2 weeks. But so is everybody else. Unless you're Penn State or LSU, and obviously Auburn. But is anybody really, test that much? I don't know. Are you telling me Notre Dame's going to walk in on a neutral field and beat 1 through 9? I don't think so. And I really don't think they're going to walk in and beat a good BYU team if they had to. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm not dissing Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a good team. Got a lot of history. It's just, I just don't see why they're 10. At least if you're going to make them 10, at least make them earn it, because they're not going to play a conference championship. So, you're already taking out another huge aspect that every other team has to go through. And I'm not even going to branch off into they need to join a conference conversation, because we all know that they need to join a conference.
Yeah, and plus that Miami loss has gotten a little worse now since they've kind of faltered a little bit. So they can't even really hang their hat on the Miami loss. Bo, what'd you see?
Yeah, Brant, I like what you said there, because the argument is not going to be for Notre Dame's wins, but for their losses, which makes no sense to me. That the argument is going to be, well, they lost to 2 good teams, but they lost close, which is completely ridiculous. But also about the rankings, like you're saying, guys, it really doesn't matter. People are going to lose their minds over the rankings and who's ranked here and who's ranked there. All you got to do is keep winning. Just keep winning. And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the bye situation, the only time you really want to have a bye is if you're really banged up or you really need the rest. But some of these teams are going to be playing really well at the end of the season. They're going to want to keep playing. They're not going to want the bye. And the bye is actually going to do the opposite. Is it could actually hurt them, just like we saw last year. Every team that had to bye in the first round got beat in the second round. So I don't know how much the bye actually helps. But to anybody out there watching, if your team didn't, if you feel like your team is being slighted because Team X or Team Y or whoever is above them or ranked higher, don't worry about it. All they got to do is keep winning. You just keep winning, and you just stay in that pole position, and then eventually they'll get to state their case when it comes down to the final 12.
Absolutely, I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
And and it's,
I don't think, this top 12 is not going to be the same top 12 that we see in a month.
exactly.
Is there any team in that top 12 that you think will not make it? And if there is one, do you think there's a team within maybe the 13 to 20 that can jump in and snag a spot? Brant, what do you think?
Tough, man. Big 12 leaders right now. Is it Texas Tech and BYU? Are they the two that are leading the Big 12?
Yes.
Because I'm assuming. Wait, do they play each other this weekend?
They play this weekend.
Yeah. So one of them
That
is
could be a
what,
lose
7
league
and one of
town
them's
match.
10. So I feel like one of them is going to have to slip out. And I'm one of those firm believers. I think Oregon's losing another game. So I don't know who it's going to be
Iowa
to
this weekend.
Oh, I know they got a tough stretch.
Yeah,
Don't worry. I've heard that one. It's I wanted to be a huge believer in the Oregon. Oregon's never won a natty. They're always really good. They got a great coach. I want to believe in Oregon. I don't mind Oregon at all, but I just feel like every year I watch them, I'm like, okay, this is going to be the year for Oregon. This is going to be the year they turn it around, and then they really get there. And then I always see 1 or 2 or 3 games where either they lose or they barely scrape that mark, and you're like, man, I really believed in this team, but now I watch them and I'm like, when I watched them against Wisconsin, they struggled against Wisconsin. And I get it. Every team's a D1 team. No team's really a pushover, but I feel like nobody's really struggled against Wisconsin except for them. Obviously there's teams lesser that you expect to struggle against a team like Wisconsin, but not Oregon.
Yeah. And, back to the Notre Dame point, they still have to play Pitt. So that could literally be a pitfall, if you don't mind the pun. Bo, what about you?
Yeah, I honestly think that Notre Dame could be the biggest case to lose, because the question I have with Notre Dame is not have they improved that much, or has the competition been so much lesser that they look better than they looked in those first 2 weeks? Because in the first 2 weeks, you clearly, if you watch those games, you clearly saw deficiencies in their secondary, in the speed and athleticism, and those receivers from A&M and Miami got pretty much whatever they want, however they wanted. And they threw the ball down the field for huge chunk plays. And I'm just wondering if that is the case, that it's not so much that Notre Dame is playing so much better. All they're doing is just feeding Jeremiah Love. Granted, he's a really good player. They say running game and defense travels, and I understand that. But they're going to be locked up with some teams in the playoff that are going to match up front, and Love's not going to be able to pound the ball. Just like the A&M game, he only had 100 yards. They were playing at home, and he was fresh, and it was early in the season. And I think he had 100, 105, something like that. A&M really did a good job on him and forced Carr to beat them, and they were able to get enough stops to win at Notre Dame. So that's my question: is Notre Dame? And you talking about Oregon? I know it's kind of a laugher, like people have kind of forgotten about Iowa, but Iowa has found a semblance of an offense. The line of scrimmage is really good. They're playing at home at Kinnick with the pink locker rooms. Historically, under Kirk Ferentz, they've been really good at home. And the one bugaboo that that Oregon has always had, going all the way back to the Chip Kelly days, when they play teams that are really physical up front, good at the line of scrimmage, and play rock solid defense, they struggle. And when they can't rip off those long runs, we saw Indiana do the exact same thing. And remember, that was an Indiana-Iowa game that was 13-13 in the last minute, and Iowa ripped off a long one, or Indiana, ripped off a long one to seal the deal. So I think in some ways, Indiana and Iowa are built alike in that regard, and I think Iowa could give them problems.
Yeah, I think so too. Iowa's always been that notorious team in the Big Ten that'll sneak up on, and you can ask Ohio State about that. They absolutely got throttled by Iowa a few years ago, and Iowa's one of those sneaky teams that can catch you. Scott, what about you?
I'm going to be the conspiracy theorist here. I'm looking at Texas right now, guys. Don't be surprised if they slide in here. I'm just throwing that at you. I know they still got A&M coming up, but
did we lose Scott?
Yeah, I'm back. I know we've got A&M. I know they've got A&M coming up. That'll be one heck of a game. But I'm staring at Texas right now because I also know they're highly favored, if you know what I mean. They are this Ohio State South, if you will. They're going to get all the love. They don't need much help. They're going to get it. So that's what I look at now. Now, who's out? I like what Bo said about Notre Dame, but I counter to that with, again, they don't play a conference championship game. It's real easy for Notre Dame to stay in my opinion. Who's out? Brant mentioned earlier. You got a tough game this week with BYU and I think whoever I'm gonna say BYU loses that game. And they might be the one out, but not going to be at all surprised. Y'all know me. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I see Texas making their way in here some way, somehow. And I think they slide in.
Hey, 1 point, Scott. You remember on the last show we talked about that I was listening to a show, and they were saying they guaranteed a 3-loss team could get in. If they have a win, happen. If Texas ends the season with 3 losses, they would have 3 losses, but they have Georgia, A&M. If they split those games and then win the other, and then have a good win over Georgia Tech at the end, I mean, they've got a real case. I believe that with the strength of schedule. And you can say what you want about Arch and the struggles. Look at wins and losses. Just look at wins and losses.
Right.
Yeah, and to Scott's point, Texas is kind of a sleeper team right now because if they win out, they would go to the SEC championship game. Right?
Yeah, there's no pressure on them.
They went.
Just play.
Yeah, there's absolutely no pressure on them because they're waiting in the weeds. They got a couple of big games left. You know, you upset Georgia, you upset A&M at the end of the year, and we all know anything can happen in a rivalry game. And Texas has kind of owned Texas A&M throughout the years. You know, you could very well have Alabama and Texas in the championship game, and you know if that happens, you know if A&M. Or if there's like a 3 or 4 way tie and A&M loses to Texas, makes the championship game, and then they lose to Alabama, you know, how far do they drop Texas A&M? What do you think, Brent?
I mean, dude, I don't care if they're Texas or not. I mean, going to Athens and beating Georgia and then beating, Texas A&M, are they in College Station or are they in?
They're in Austin. They're in Austin for that one.
I mean, even then, I think if they lose to Georgia, they're done. I mean, I just think there's 3 decent teams they've lost to, and I mean. And I'll tell you, nobody was happier this past weekend than Ohio State. When Texas beat Vanderbilt, Ohio State, because that's their only quality win. I mean, Ohio State's grasping onto that Texas win at the shoe. So, I mean, if Texas loses, I mean, Ohio State doesn't look that good. And that's the same thing, that Indiana's praying. Indiana's praying that Oregon continues to win. I mean, because if Oregon, somehow spiraled, which I don't believe they will, but if Oregon somehow spiraled and they ended the season with 3 losses, it doesn't make that loss or that win, in Eugene look that decent. Granted, you went to Eugene and beat Oregon. That's not easy to do. Can't take that away from Indiana. And, I mean, nobody's complimented Indiana more this year than I have. I mean, when I watched them play Oregon, I didn't see these humongous dudes that are going to throw you around. I saw guys that have perfected technique, and they know how to play football. I mean, you don't have to be the shoe on the block if you know how to play. I mean, look at Alabama. We had the biggest and strongest O-line in the country 2 years ago, and they couldn't stop a cold. So, I mean, as long as you know how to play the game, your technique's right, dude, you can be a good football team. And Kurt Cignetti has got those guys going. But, and I'll say this. Man, what about Georgia? Dude, you can't kill them bastards. I mean, they are. I mean, it makes Alabama look so freaking good in Athens because nobody can beat them. I mean, Tennessee takes them to the wire. They somehow win. Yeah, see, exactly. Florida, I mean, had a 4th and 1 inside the 20? Should win that game, and Georgia finds a way. Like, you can't kill them. They're going to be there at the end of the year, too. Because I don't know who else they really play. I mean, besides, Georgia Tech is the last really good team they play? I mean, Texas. But, I mean, Georgia Tech isn't no pushover either. But, I mean, dude, you just can't kill Georgia. They're going to be there. Somehow, some way, they're going to make it every single year. And I got to credit that to Kirby, man. Kirby is he's either going to go down with the ship or he's not going down at all. And it's mighty impressive, and It's the same thing as Kalen DeBoer being able to turn Alabama around this year. And I know me and Chad and Scott last show I was on talked about this and being able to right the ship, because some of these games that, we've won this year, we don't win last year. So you got to credit the coaching on a lot of aspects, especially, in this day of college football. And I'll be honest, I'll leave with this. I'll stop rambling. Man, y'all got to think, man, this year of college football has really showed the coaching change throughout the country. I mean, I feel you have seen so many, just like not so much come out of nowhere, but you've seen a lot of good coaches really start to prosper in their systems, and that's why I'm a huge believer in the Kalen DeBoer system. I mean, granted, I know I scream at my TV just like everybody else does, but I mean, I'm a firm believer that it's his team. He's got it. He's fierce. When I saw a locker room video of him cussing, that's all I asked for. That's all I ever wanted. I just wanted somebody to be intense and want to win just as much as I do. And we've gotten that. But yeah, just credit to the coaches for this year, man. I just feel like you're really going to get a good playoff because the coaching's there this year. And I'm excited. And I was firmly against the 12-team playoff until last year when I got to see the games. And I was firmly happy with what we got at the product last year. Now, if they expanded again, I'm going to be a little upset. But I don't need a December madness with 64 teams. But, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, well, to your point about Georgia, there's certain programs in college football where this team is still this team. Georgia's still Georgia. Bama's still Bama. Ohio State's still Ohio State. I mean, that's just a testament to what you said, Kirby, and the culture that he learned from Saban, brought it over to Georgia, and they're one of and they'll continue to be one of the best teams in the country. Bo, what about you?
This is what I thought about Kirby and Georgia all year. Okay, I'm a big scary movie buff. I love scary movies. 80s scary movies, the best. There's a scene at the end of the first Halloween, the original, where Jamie Lee Curtis thinks she has defeated the boogeyman, where she stabs him in the eye with the clothes hanger and thinks he's dead.
The goat movie.
Yeah, and she walks out, she sits down, and she's all despair, and all of a sudden he just pops up, looks over at her. And that's what I felt all year. What Kirby and Georgia are. Just when you think they're dead, all right, they're going down this time. Nope, they pop back up. Boom, ball game. Look at what they did against Ole Miss. I mean, they were down 9 with about 8 minutes to go, and then what they score like 17 unanswered in the last 8 minutes.
I think, I mean, you just can't kill them.
You just cannot kill these guys. I mean, they absolutely, just like you guys are saying, there are programs flat out that just know how to win. The coaches know how to coach in the situations. The situation's not too big. They manage the clock. They manage the time. They manage the situation. They don't let the anxiety get to them. It's just another game. It's just another play, and they play and they execute. And you can say whatever you want about Georgia's defense. While they're not as good, when they need to make a play late in the game, they always seem to make it. Somebody steps up and makes a play. And it's like Kirby in that defense, they have something dialed up for exactly the right moment. And he makes that small adjustment or throws something that you hadn't seen all game, and then they make a play, and then the offense, because they're elite with elite quarterback play and elite skill players, and then they go down and they get it done, and it happens so fast, and you're like, my goodness, like that happens so fast, and it's ball game. And that's just a testament to what Kirby's built there.
Yeah. And Jeremy, I'm going to steal an analogy from you.
Yes,
Georgia's the Undertaker.
Yes,
Kirby
sir.
Smart's Paul Bearer.
Yes,
when
sir.
they get down and you think they're dead, he raises that urn up and they draw power. They sit back up.
I love it.
They do what they always do. They're like the
no casket match for them, baby. No casket match for them.
No, they win it. And the other team's Kamala. We all know that. Scott, what do you think, man?
Well, I was gonna say, unless I guess that makes Alabama, Shawn Michaels. I don't know. He always had it. He always had the upper hand with Undertaker.
Ric Flair, 18-time world champion.
No, Scott is right. Alabama is Shawn Michaels because they're the Heartbreak Kids to Georgia. So no, you're right. They are the Heartbreak Kids.
Yeah, to Georgia, definitely would be the
to Georgia
and Notre Dame.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts, Scott?
Man, y'all have said everything, man. I've got nothing left for it, dude. Like, I'm glad these rankings came out tonight. No, nothing's different from the AP poll. I'm satisfied. I'm not upset about anything. I didn't really think they would stick to the AP poll pattern. I thought they would shake it up a little bit. Didn't happen, but I'm not surprised. Again, it's the first week we're doing this. Next week, it'll be different, I'm sure. But I'm satisfied with tonight. I have nothing to be upset about. I got nothing to throw, no reason to throw stuff across the room. Everything looks good. We got some really exciting. We're going into the fourth quarter of the season. Got a lot of football left to play. A lot of great games ahead of us. Just looking forward to it, man. I don't think I've ever been more excited about college football. At least not since Saban got to Bama. That's what it feels like right now.
Yeah, and it feels like one of the most open playoff. I mean, I know we've only had it 2 years, but I mean, playoffs in general feels like very open. Like the past years, you knew it was going to be Bama, Clemson, LSU, Clemson. But I mean, it feels like now you could have one of 6 to 8 teams that would make the Final Four.
Yeah.
Now let's hit on the group of 5 just for a second. If not Memphis, then who? Brant, start us.
Dude, I don't know. I don't even know who you put there. I feel like you had your chance when you put USF and Memphis together, and Memphis came out on top. I don't know if Memphis loses another game.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other team maybe that I can consider would be Navy. I mean, Navy was going crazy there for a minute. I don't know if they're still undefeated. I know when I checked last week they were still undefeated, but I don't know if they are now. I think they have a bye this past week. They lose.
They lost to North Texas pretty bad.
North Texas. So, I mean, that's the only other team that I was even considering that wasn't Memphis, because I feel like Memphis' rest of the schedule is kind of, just pretty straightforward. And I know we're on group 5, man. But I just saw the rankings come across my phone again. Do we really think Texas should be number 11? Like, I just got, the ESPN update. Is Texas the number 11 team in the country? I feel like we were struggling there for a little bit to see them winning 9 games. And granted, they had a great win against Vanderbilt. Can't knock that. I mean, because Vanderbilt's a dang good team. But does that really prompt them to number 11 in the country? I mean, y'all can talk about group 5. I just saw that and I was thinking, because I don't know how I didn't notice it the first time. And I'm like, are they really the number 11 team in the country?
Well, according to the ranking, they are.
I just, that doesn't sit right with me.
Bo, we going with, is it going to be Memphis?
Well, it's Memphis, but with an asterisk, because yes, they beat South Florida head-to-head, and Brant's right about that, but they lost to UAB. I mean, they have the worst loss that they could possibly have, but I still think they get in. Now, the only other team that I think could possibly right now have an argument, because when we talked about this on the other show, Navy's still got to play Notre Dame. They still got to play, I think, South Florida, Memphis. I mean, they've still got a tougher. I mean, they'll probably end up at the best 8-4. But it's San Diego State. I mean, they won again this past weekend. But I believe they still have a game with Boise. If they can win that, Boise still has a high enough ranking to give them a good win, and they also have a blowout win over Cal. And if they finish 11-1 and win that conference, I think they have a legitimate argument, given the fact that Memphis lost to UAB. So, but given the way things are shaking out, I still think it's going to be Memphis.
I agree.
Yeah. What about you, Scott?
Yeah, same. I'm Memphis all the way here. I don't think there's anybody else worthy or can even slide in that spot. I really don't see anybody else anymore.
Yeah, I don't think if you put it to 12, they're going to lose to Georgia or whoever at the 5 is anyway. So it's kind of like a sacrificial lamb for the 5 seed anyway. So, well, guys, that will do it for this edition of the 4th and 31.
Before we end the show, I just want to run through this real fast, just get y'all's opinions. It's not going to take too long. I just want to get y'all's opinions real fast. So the current top 12 that have come through, I just want to get y'all's opinion on who y'all think would really take these games. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be some long drawn out thing, but just give me your quick answer as fast as you can. So your first round, you have Oregon in Lubbock, Texas, playing Texas Tech. What you think? What you think, bud?
Honestly, I would probably like Texas Tech in that game.
I agree.
I mean, not only is Lubbock a tough place to play, but I would actually, shockingly, for the first time since probably the Spike Dykes days, I would actually give Texas Tech the edge on defense.
What you think, Scott?
Same boat. Texas Tech all day against them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go with the home team on that one.
Yeah, and I think the quarterback plays probably about even in that game.
Yeah, I agree. So, well, this is I don't know how long we're going to spend on this one, but what about Memphis and Athens?
Georgia.
Next.
Yeah.
Next.
I was about to say.
Georgia.
What about Notre Dame at BYU?
Ooh, a holy war.
That'd be a good game.
Oh, the Mormons and the Catholics. Yes, sir.
No
Yeah.
touchdown
Lined up,
Jesus and
baby.
BYU.
No, you'd have to have a good shirt for that one.
What about old Virginia and
Well,
Ole Miss?
hold on. Going back to Notre Dame, I would actually kind of favor Notre Dame in that game because I don't know that BYU has the weapons outside and the quarterback to really challenge them down the field, because that's what's going to get Notre Dame is a team that can throw the ball and throw the ball downfield and is explosive outside. And I don't know that BYU has that.
I like that. Great take. Virginia, at Ole Miss, I feel like you're just...
That'd be a fun
Ole
one.
Miss.
That's just a bad
Ole
draw
Miss.
for
Ole
Virginia.
Miss. Yeah, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Yeah.
But that would make it... So then you'd have Texas Tech playing Ohio State. I don't really know how you pick against Ohio State in that game, as much as that
Ohio
pains me.
State.
Then you'd have a rematch. You'd have Georgia and Alabama. Alabama's the boogeyman, man.
Yeah, but I don't like rematches.
I don't see how it works.
I hate rematches, but until Georgia can get it done against them, you got to take Bama out.
Exactly.
I would think.
Well, the last time they rematched them, they did beat Alabama.
Well,
yes, they did. They did. We
was
beat them in the SEC championship, then lost to them in the national.
yeah, different set of circumstances there. We had half our receiving core out, so
Right.
that
Yeah,
made
that's true.
That made a big difference.
Now,
Say what you want.
this next game would probably be my favorite. It'd be Notre Dame and Indiana. I think that'd
rematch.
be a great game.
Rematch from last year.
The
Exactly.
Hoosier State Showdown.
Indiana.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, man. Notre Dame is just so freaking big up front, and nobody talks about this either. I feel like Notre Dame's front seven is very decent. I mean, you're just not going to push over the front seven of Notre Dame. That's not going to happen.
Well, again, that's another one of those matchups that I was talking about, like with BYU. I mean, that matchup favors Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, because Indiana wants to do the same thing Notre Dame wants to run. They want to go big. They want to run the football, run it downhill, possess the football, throw on their terms, and move the sticks and chew up the clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think either one of those teams are particularly explosive in the passing game. So probably lean Notre Dame.
Well, if you don't know Kurt Signetti, you need to Google him.
Yeah. If you need to know anything, just Google Sig. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. He's got a dang good track record. What about Ole Miss and Texas A&M?
Ooh.
I mean, I hope the over/under for that
That's
game
so
is
high.
about 70.
I tell you what, that's so high level in so many areas. I would give the quarterback lean to A&M. I would give the defensive lean to A&M. I would probably, I tell you what, I think that those two teams feel so even to me.
Very similar. Yes.
That and I tell you the interesting matchup there. Elko, head coach, defensive coordinator, Lane, head coach, OC. That's the chess match right there.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. And see, I'm a big Marcel Reed fan. I think Marcel Reed is insane.
Love that guy.
But this is my thinking. I feel like there's no team in the country that can score not only faster, but in more of a way where you just got to raise your hands and go, what do we do, than Ole Miss. I mean, that's the Lane Kiffin specialty. He just knows different defenses and how to score in just the quickest way possible. I mean, it's just what he does.
Well, one thing I do like about A&M, they have won in every way possible. They had to grind out and run the ball against Auburn and just ran that game down. They've gotten into a shootout or two. They had a game or two where they had to really throw the ball. They had a game where they won with their defense. And when you have high-level quarterback play, high-level coaching, and you can win in a multitude of ways and you're explosive on offense, that's dangerous.
Absolutely. We'll just burn through these last four, and then we'll just we'll call it a night. Obviously, you'd have Ohio State, Bama. I mean, I'm taking Bama. Not even in a million years would I pick Ohio State over Alabama. And then you have we take in Indiana. I guess we'll take Texas A&M. Let's just say Indiana, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Really?
Texas A&M.
I think they're more they're more multifaceted. They're better in more areas than Indiana is.
Man,
and they're more battle tested.
More
you know
balanced,
what I mean?
More balanced, more battle tested.
Yeah.
All right, so then I mean Alabama, Texas A&M championship. That'd be crazy.
That'd be amazing. You know, and hey, just real quick on that. You know, it's funny because there's all these SEC teams in the top 12, top 15, top 25, and everybody says, "Oh, there's too many SEC teams." Well, when there were 14 teams that made the basketball tournament, that was too many, and the SEC won it. And then there were too many that made the baseball tournament, and then they won it. And they won Omaha. The SEC won in Omaha again. You know, I don't care what conference they're in; they just happen to be in the SEC. Exactly. I want the best teams to play. Period. Right. Because that's the way it should be. If the best two teams end up being Ohio State and Indiana playing for the national championship, so be it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people would. And Mom, tell us what you think. Is there too many SEC teams in the top 10, top 12? Let us know, in the comments. Let us know, about our takes. Are they good, bad, ugly? This will do it for this edition of the 4th and 31 podcast. For Brant, Bo, Bolick, and the boss, we will see you next time. See ya.
Peace.